Bureaucracy is one of the central pillars of our economy and is starting to crumble. Jobless claims in DC up 36% in 1 week. Michael Snyder reports one of the central pillars of the U.S. economy is melting down right in front of our eyes. We spend gigantic mountains of borrowed money to maintain the largest and most bloated bureaucracy in the entire history of the planet. More than 3 million workers are employed directly by the federal government. More than 7 million workers are employed by private institutions that rely on government funding or government contracts, and more than 20 million workers are employed by state and local governments. So that gives us a grand total of more than 30 million workers that are employed in bureaucratic jobs. Needless to say, on average, bureaucratic jobs pay more and have better benefits than jobs in the private sector. So what is going to happen to our deeply troubled economy as large numbers of good-paying bureaucratic jobs start to disappear? Anyone that believed that shrinking the size of government would be painless was just being delusional. Last week, over 10,000 federal workers were given the axe by the Trump administration. We're being told that this is likely just the beginning of the job cuts. In a flurry of activity at the end of the week, the Trump administration fired more than 10,000 federal workers across multiple agencies as part of its large-scale reductions in the government workforce. This is likely just the beginning of the job cuts, as President Donald Trump and top White House aide Elon Musk seek to continue slashing agency budgets. Trump signed an executive order on Tuesday seeking a significant reduction in the size of the government. It instructs heads of federal departments and agencies to make large-scale reductions in force. No other president has ever dared to do such a thing. Among those that were let go at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau was a senior litigation attorney named Hannah Hickman. Hannah Hickman, a now terminated worker for the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, told ABC News, "The last 4 days have been a roller coaster. It's scary," said Hickman, who was fired last Tuesday. "I had a real moment. I was at CVS the other day, and it kind of came on me all at once that I might not have health insurance in a few weeks, and that really hits you. I think it underscores the fact that we're just regular middle-class people, just like the people we're trying to serve." Hickman was senior litigation counsel for the Division of Enforcement at the CFPB in Washington, D.C. She is one of thousands of mostly new employees known as probationary workers laid off this week across the federal government. Those recent hires had joined the federal workforce within the last 2 years, depending on the agency, and have fewer protections. Of course, it's not just workers in the D.C. area that are being terminated. A 28-year-old woman named Victoria Porter says she just lost her dream job, which involved riding horses on mountain hiking trails in Montana. Victoria Porter, 28, said she found her dream job riding horses into backcountry to maintain hiking trails for the U.S. Forest Service in Montana. That all went away Friday when she said 8 other people on her 12-person trail team also were fired. The terminations will have a big impact on the community around the forest where she worked, Porter said. Outdoor outfitters and other local businesses rely on the trails as an economic engine for the region. There is no way the trails can be maintained with a drastically smaller crew, she said. Needless to say, a lot more job cuts are coming. In fact, it's being reported that the IRS will soon lay off thousands of probationary workers. The IRS is planning to lay off thousands of probationary workers during tax filing season, according to an Associated Press report citing sources familiar with the situation. The report did not indicate exactly how many would be laid off. The news of the layoffs comes after Elon Musk and the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, reportedly began examining the IRS to find waste, fraud, and tax dollar savings. Things are beginning to get really, really crazy. In D.C., new claims for unemployment benefits just jumped by 36% in a single week. Since Trump has taken office, nearly 4,000 workers in the city have filed for unemployment insurance as part of a surge that began at the start of the new year, according to Labor Department figures not adjusted for seasonal factors. In all, just shy of 7,000 claims have been filed in the 6 weeks of the new year, or about 55% more than the prior 6-week period. Filings rose to 1,780 for the week ending February 8, a 36% increase from the prior week, and more than 4 times around the same period in 2024. We are still in early stages of the government layoffs. What will things look like once hundreds of thousands of additional government employees are unemployed? Eric Doherty on X posted just in, unemployment claims are surging in Washington, D.C. Per NBC, jobless filings surged to 1,780 for the week ending February 8, an increase of 36% from the prior week. Nearly 4,000 workers have filed since Trump took office. Without jobs, many former bureaucrats will be forced to sell their homes. And according to Daily Mail, the number of homes for sale in the D.C. area has nearly doubled within the past 30 days. TKL found there are now nearly 8,000 homes listed for sale in Washington, D.C. metro area, and almost half of them have been put on the market in the last 30 days. There also has been a surge in new listing of homes over $1 million. According to TKL, there are 525 listings worth $1 million and 44 listings worth $5 million, suggesting Doge layoffs could affect people in high-profile jobs. If you're looking to purchase a home in the D.C. area, you now have a lot more choices. It does not take a genius to figure out what this is going to do to home values. Home prices in the region have already begun coming down substantially. In November, the median home in the nation's capital was worth $699,000, according to Redfin. By February, the median home value dropped 20%, bringing the price down to $560,000. And the chart showing median home price in Washington, D.C. area. November 2020, median home Washington, D.C. worth $699,000, according to Redfin. Today, the median home worth $560,000, making the 20% drop in 3 months. Mass selling is an understatement. Commercial real estate will be severely affected as well. Elon Musk and his team are determined to get rid of office space that's not being utilized, and apparently the federal government currently has lots and lots of office space that is not being occupied. Doge has specifically noted that Washington, D.C. federal government buildings are particularly empty. On average, they are just 12% occupied. The Department of Agriculture just saw 456 of 7,400 employees use their office. The D.C. real estate market is just getting started. What a mess. Interestingly, it appears that a tremendous amount of money is on the move as well. In the D.C. area, searches for Swiss bank or offshore bank or wire money and IBAN have all skyrocketed. According to Zero Hedge, it would be awful if someone, say Big Balls, audited all the outbound ACH transfers over $1 million in the past month. Now that the gravy train has come to a screeching halt, rats are scurrying for cover while they still can. And let's not forget that we're about 1 month away from the potential government shutdown, which could take the madness in D.C. to an entirely new level. What almost everyone is missing, this country has roughly 1 month until the government runs out of money, and things like paychecks to troops, food inspection programs, disaster relief payments, and aid to low-income families could all be caught up in a chaotic game of chicken. I was in favor of radically reducing the size of the federal bureaucracy long before it was fashionable, and many of the changes that are happening right now are desperately needed, but let there be no doubt the process that has begun is going to result in severe pain. Honestly, I do not know if our society is equipped to handle what is about to happen. This is by Michael Snyder on the Economic Collapse blog. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. This is by Michael Snyder, and about the author. Michael Snyder's new book entitled Why is available on paperback and for Kindle on Amazon. He's also written 8 other books that are available on Amazon, including Chaos, End Times, 70-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophecies of the Future of America, The Beginning of the End, and Living a Life That Really Matters. When you purchase any of Michael's books, you help to support the work that he's doing. You can also get his articles by email as soon as he publishes them by subscribing to his Substack newsletter. Michael has published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, and of the American dream and the most important news, and he's always freely and happily allowed others to republish those articles on their own websites. These are such troubled times that people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, we strongly urge you to invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.